Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, otherwise known as Pirates 5 or Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Either way, let's get into this. Before I get started, for this time I have seen all the Pirates movies, unlike some of the other franchises I've talked about, like Resident Evil, Underworld, stuff like that. I've seen all of them. First one's the best. Second, third, fourth. It just goes downhill consistently. Is this one better than the last one? Well, let's get into that. The story for this movie is convoluted. But is it impossible to solve? No. But doesn't change the fact that it's not exactly great. Let's just attempt to describe the convoluted story we have. And that is, what's his name? Henry Turner, the son of Will Turner. He's basically trying to free his dad from the Flying Dutchman, and in order to do that, he needs to get this trident. And there's also a villain in the movie. He wants to get the trident because he's cursed, and the trident will break all curses. And I don't know how, but it's how it works. So what did I like about this movie? Well, first off, the performances all work in this movie. They're decent at the very least. The main villain of the movie, I can't remember I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I believe the actor's name is Javier Bardem. I think that's how you say it. I believe he was in Skyfall, the villain in Skyfall, and in this he's pretty good actually. He's menacing and he works as the villain for the movie. Unlike the MCU, who just they're all the same and they're forgettable. But in this, the villain works. The characters, they work for what the story needs, at the very least. It's funny in some parts. There's good cinematography. It's a pretty looking movie, even though that isn't really saying. I think they're all pretty looking movies, all the Pirates movies. Oh, and I like the callbacks to the first couple of Pirates movies. I thought they were the best parts of the movie. Now to get into my negatives, this movie's kind of boring, unfortunately. Sorry. Okay, to be fair, I didn't hate this movie, but it's just kind of bland. Most of the humor in this movie falls flat. I'm not saying it's the performances that don't work. It just feels shoehorned in and forced. And the best stuff that made me laugh was in the trailers, unfortunately. Well, most of it, except for like the opening scene for Captain Jack Sparrow. The pacing in this movie is pretty off. I think it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and it feels really slow at times, which is a major problem for a movie like this. It should be fun, and if it feels very slow and you're not having a good time, no pun intended, the ship starts to sink into the water, and you just want to leave the theater. Like a couple people left the theater like halfway through in my theater, or in the theater I was at, rather. But my biggest issue with this movie would be that if you watch it, I think you'll enjoy it, question mark, but you won't get much out of it. That might be my biggest issue, and the new characters they put into this movie are either just boring or you don't care about them. They're shoehorned in here because the script needs new characters for some reason, and it does not work. I tried to go into this movie with an open mind, and there are some good things, but for the most part, the protagonist in the movie, I'm not even sure who the protagonist of the movie is, to be honest. That's not good. Overall, this movie, unfortunately, it's not exactly worth your time. towards the end of the movie, and this is one last issue I have, there's an action sequence. Not the very last action sequence, like the second last action sequence in the movie. It's very dark and you can't see really what's happening. So, poor lighting in that regard. And I think that's it for issues. So, unfortunately, there's not much here to like. Our leads don't really have any chemistry. And I'm gonna give Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales a C minus. I'll give it this. This movie is better than, for myself, than the last two sequels we got, which were On Stranger Tides and At World's End. But I think Dead Man's Chest is a little bit better than this. And I actually really enjoyed it. Even though it's convoluted in its own way, it's still much more enjoyable to watch. From what I remember, at least. I haven't seen the movie in a while. But I just remember it being so much more enjoyable, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for watching, as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like. Tell me what you thought down below. And follow me on Twitter. A link to that will be in the description below. And subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know what it is. So, thank you for watching and have a great day.